umpire Steve Palermo was shot early Sunday morning while attempting to catch a group of robbery suspects in a Dallas restaurant. According to Dallas police, Palermo was shot while chasing the suspects who had robbed several waitresses and other individuals at the restaurant. The 41-year-old Palermo worked the California-Texas game in nearby Arlington on Saturday and was admitted to Parkland Hospital in Dallas at approximately 2 a.m. Central, where he is listed in serious but stable condition with a gunshot wound to the abdomen. Kraft flown in for Sunday's California-Texas game after Steve Palermo was shot in Dallas on Sunday morning. Palermo, still hospitalized, is in fair condition. In the top of the second inning of Sunday night's game, Nolan Ryan would strike out Lance Parrish. And then in the bottom of the third, Texas would get on the board first as Mike Stanley doubles to right center field. This off Angels starter Chuck Finley, who comes into this game with 12 victories. For the double would score Gary Pettis with the game's first run. And then later in the bottom of the third, it would be Ruben Sierra who would double off Finley. This one off the top of the left center field wall. And this would score Stanley and then Rafael Palmeiro. And Texas takes a 3-0 lead. But the Rangers would not be done in the bottom of the third, as former Angel Brian Downing would step up and hit his 9th home run of the year. This a 3-run blast off Finley. So Texas, with 6 runs in the bottom of the third, they take a 6-0 lead. And that would be more than enough for Nolan Ryan on this Sunday night, as Ryan would be in rare form once again, although not too rare for Ryan the way he's pitched throughout his career. Here he strikes out Dave Winfield in the top of the 5th. This is his 6th consecutive strikeout. And then Ryan would break the Texas strikeout record that he had previously shared with Jim Bibby and Dave Stewart, as he strikes out 7 consecutive batters. Here he gets Dave Parker in the top of the 5th. Then in the top of the 6th, Nolan Ryan would strike out Luis Sojo. This to end the innings. 12 strikeouts for Ryan through 6 innings of play. But more importantly, Nolan Ryan with a perfect game. He has 7 no-hitters coming into this one. Never had a perfect game. And Ryan would get ahead of Luis Polonia 0-2 to start off the 7th inning. However, he would walk Polonia. So 6 perfect innings for Ryan, but the perfect game goes up on the walk to Polonia. Still, he would have faced just the minimum number of batters through 7 innings as he gets Wally Joyner to bounce into the 4-6-3 double play. On to the 8th inning as Ryan goes for an unprecedented 8th no-hitter, but the 44-year-old right-hander would be stymied by Dave Winfield, who oddly enough was just 1 for 22 off Ryan in his career and struck out in his first 2 at-bats against the veteran right-hander. But Winfield rips this 0-2 pitch up the middle to lead off the 8th inning. So Nolan Ryan's bid for an 8th no-hitter falls by the boards in the top of the 8th. The leadoff single by Dave Winfield. Earlier this year, you'll recall that Ryan pitched no-hitter against the Blue Jays. That is 7th. He goes for number 8 tonight, but he would not get it. Still, he gets a standing ovation from the Arlington Stadium crowd. And Ryan would finish pitching 8 1/3 innings of 2-hit baseball, striking out 14, walking just 1. He would combine with Kenny Rogers for the 2-hitter. Texas wins by the final of 7-0 to move into first place in the American League West by percentage points. Ryan the winner now 5-4. Chuck Finley the loser 12-4.
Juan Guzman toweling off in the dugout before the start of the game today between the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Here in the top of the first inning, Joe Carter with a sacrifice fly into center field. Devon White tags up and scores. RBI number 59 for Carter. And the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead. The John Olerud fan club in attendance this afternoon in the Kingdome, and he would not disappoint. Here in the top of the second inning, he gets all of this Eric Hansen fastball and puts it into the seats in right field. Greg Myers also scores, home run number 10 for Olerud, RBI number 28, and the Blue Jays extend their lead to 3-0. Still in the second inning, Mookie Wilson will come up, and Wilson will hit a triple into the right field corner. This will bring home Rob Ducey, and the Blue Jays lead is at 4-0. All of these runs coming off starter Eric Hansen, and he would give up another one in the inning, as later on Devon White would step up to the plate, and he will lift a sacrifice fly into center field. Mookie Wilson on third base will tag up and score easily, RBI number 24 for White, and the Blue Jays lead is extended to 5-0. There wasn't much to get excited about today for the home team until the later innings, as most people would just rest up and wait for a Mariner rally. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Ken Griffey Jr. helps out a bit with a single into left center field. Edgar Martinez scores, RBI number 35 for Ken Griffey, and the Blue Jays lead is cut to 5-1. Still in the 6th inning, the Mariners will try to keep the rally going. but Juan Guzman, the starter for the Blue Jays, will strike out Jay Buhner to end the threat, as Guzman worked 8 innings, allowing just 1 run on 3 hits. Dwayne Ward would be brought in to pitch the 9th inning, and he would have a rough start, but a strong finish. First, he would give up a solo home run to Ken Griffey Jr., home run number 9, RBI number 36, and that cut the Toronto lead to 5-2. But Ward would strike out the side as he gets Alvin Davis to end it, as the Blue Jays win this one by a score of 5-2. Juan Guzman with the win, his record 3-2. Eric Hansen with the loss, his record drops to 4-4. The Blue Jays sweep the Mariners, and Toronto goes into the All-Star break with a 5.5 game lead in the American League East.
Second, Jeff Treadway at the plate, and he would single to left field. Tommy Gregg would beat Cal Daniels' throw to the plate, and the Braves take a 1-0 lead in the top of the second. Bottom of the second now, and it would be Murray struck out by Charlie Leibrandt. Catcher Greg Olson catching the foul tip, or so says home plate umpire Ed Rapuano. And not to argue it is Dodgers manager Tom Lasorda, who would get ejected from the game in the bottom of the second by Ed Rapuano after arguing a foul tip call on Eddie Murray. Now in the bottom of the fourth, Darryl Strawberry would tie it up as he singles to right field. His 30th RBI scores Brett Butler, and it's 1-1 in the bottom of the fourth. Then in the bottom of the fifth, it would be Butler coming through for the Dodgers. Earlier in the game, he extended his hitting streak to a Major League high this season of 21 games with a base hit. Here he gets the infield single as it takes a bad hop over Jeff Blauser's head. Alfredo Griffin comes in to score. A throwing error enables Butler to get on to second base, and Bobby Cox and the Braves trail 2-1. In the top of the sixth, on this pitch to Terry Pendleton, Ramon Martinez would injure his hip as he suffers a strained left hip. He would stay in for a couple more batters before leaving the game in the sixth inning. He would stay long enough to pick up his 12th victory, but nonetheless he's been advised not to pitch in Tuesday's All-Star game, although he will make the trip to Toronto. In the top of the seventh, Greg Olson with this shot off the glove of first baseman Eddie Murray, and then watch as pitcher Tim Cruz falls asleep. He holds on to the ball. Jeff Blauser comes in to score on the mental lapse by Cruz as he picks up the ball and then puts his head down. Meanwhile, Blauser doesn't stop and he comes in to score. That cuts the Dodgers lead to 3-2. That play not unlike one turned in by David Cohn of the Mets last year. But in the bottom of the seventh, Kent Merker with a throwing error on this chopper by Cal Daniels. Mike Sharperson and Darryl Strawberry score. The Dodgers win it 5-3.
Stadium at the St. Louis Cardinals against the Chicago Cubs. Top of the first inning, Ryan Sandberg would power it to the gap in left center field. Chico Walker and Mark Grace come in to score for Chicago. Pedro Guerrero will cut off Ozzie Smith's throw home, and he'll throw it to Todd Zeile, who gets Sandberg going for the triple, but it goes as a 2 RBI double and an 8-6-3-5 putout for St. Louis. Bottom of the first inning, Todd Zeile will crush a solo homer to left field, his 4th of the season, RBI number 35 for Zeile, and it cut Chicago's lead to 2-1. We'll go to the top of the third inning. Andre Dawson stepped to the plate for Chicago and rips a 2-run homer to left field over the yellow line, hitting the duel sign. He picks up Ryan Sandberg, home run number 15 for Dawson, RBI 51 and 52, and it's 4-1 Chicago. Top of the fourth, Les Lancaster with a double down the left field line. Shawan Dunston scored for Chicago, 5-1 Cubs, and it's the first RBI of the season for Les Lancaster. This newborn Cub fan being pacified by his parents. Chicago up 6-1 heading into the 8th, but Craig Wilson will get a base hit to left field. Todd Zeile and Felix Jose score for the Cardinals, and that made it 6-5 Chicago. The top of the 9th inning, Pedro Guerrero and Tom Pagnozzi will have a bone-crushing collision after they go after this Shawan Dunston popped bunt. Guerrero stayed on the ground for a few minutes. He gets looked at by the Cardinals trainer, but he was okay and stayed in the game as we take one more look at this tremendous, I guess you call it, collision between Guerrero and Pagnozzi. Those two would be key in the Cardinals' victory tonight. Bottom of the 9th inning, Pedro Guerrero with a base hit to center field off of Laddie Renfroe. Ozzie Smith comes in to score and is tied at 6. RBI 52 for Guerrero. And this game went into extra innings, where the Cubs scored first in the top of the 12th to make it 7-6. But in the bottom of the 12th, Guerrero, the opposite way, base hit to right field. Todd Zeal in, and that tied the game at 7 apiece. With the bases full now, Laddie Renfroe still in the game for Chicago when Pagnozzi drills his pitch over the drawn-in outfielders. It bounces over the wall in left field. Guerrero bounds home with the winning run as the St. Louis Cardinals win in 12 innings, coming back from 5 runs down to defeat the Chicago Cubs by a final score of 8-7.
Stay undefeated on Sunday afternoon as the Indians play host to the Milwaukee Brewers. Here in the top of the first inning, Franklin Stubbs hits a ground ball to first base. Darrell Hamilton will score, and the Milwaukee Brewers go on top 1-0. The very next batter will be Greg Vaughn, and Vaughn will hit a triple off the wall in left field. B.J. Surhoff will score, RBI number 53 for Vaughn, as the ball is really misplayed by Albert Bell, and the Brewers go on top by a score of 2-0. Then still in the top of the first inning, Willie Randolph will get an infield single as he hits one back up the middle. Felix Fermin with the diving stop, but he has no play as Greg Vaughn scores and the Brewers take a 3-0 lead. Moving now to the top of the second inning, Paul Molitor comes up and he increases that lead to 4-0 with one swing of the bat. A solo home run to left center field. Home run number 9 for Molitor, RBI number 32. And once again, the Brewers' lead is at 4-0. In the bottom of the fourth inning, with the Brewers now up 4-2, Glenn Allen Hill steps up and he hits a solo home run to left field. Home run number 4 for Hill, RBI number 12. And the Milwaukee Brewer lead is down to 4-3. Then in the bottom of the fifth inning, the Tribe will take the lead when Albert Bell steps up and he will hit a deep 2-run home run to left center field. Home run number 12, RBI number 36. As Mark Whitten also scores, and Cleveland takes the lead by a score of 5-4 over Milwaukee. But in the top of the seventh inning, with the Indians up 6-4, Dante Bichette will come up and bloop a single into center field. Stubbs and Vaughn both score, and the game is knotted up at 6 apiece. Then in the top of the ninth inning, Bichette delivers once again as he hits a 3-run home run to left field. Home run number 12, RBIs 39, 40, and 41. He finished with 5 RBIs in the game. As the Brewers take a 10-6 lead, they win it by that score. Chuck Krim with the win, his record 5-4. Jeff Shaw with the loss, his record drops to 0-2. Dan Plesac, his 7th save.